Corners is now in the Zona Dorada. That is the golden zone, the tourist zone. And we're at a brand new mall. And behind me is a recent development in Mexico. Even though Mexico is one of the 5 countries in the world where marijuana is decriminalized, it's not easy to buy unless you buy it off the given commercial market. You know, you buy it on the black market from somebody in the streets. This is a significant development because this shop right here is selling cannabis products. It's not yet open. Everything happens later on in Mexico. It's almost 12 o'clock during the day and it's not open. It'll probably open around 2 o'clock. Paradis, the company actually has a part ownership from Vicente Fox, the former president of Mexico, who's a big lead proponent. And they have some CBD related products. It's legal to own 5 grams, up to 5 grams of marijuana for your personal use in Mexico. It's decriminalized. But as far as a dispensary system being developed, that's still in the works, both for medicinal and recreational purposes. It's just easier to go buy marijuana from a street vendor, buy it from a taxi driver, buy it from almost anybody down here. They know where to get marijuana because it's grown right in the mountains just outside of this place, Mazatlán. Rounding some corners is now at the curve of the Golden Zone where it touches the beach. We're going into one of my favorite places as far as hotels go. This is Las Flores. Over there, the Flowers. It's got a spectacular location on the beach. The bar looks on the beach. It's also got a jetty that you can walk out to and all kinds of activities to look at. Check out this setting. Rounding some corners is on the beach now in the Golden Zone at the focal point for many tourists. It doesn't get any better than this. You've got all kinds of activities going on. You'll have fruit vendors going up and down. You've got musicians going up and down looking to be hired. You've got islands that you can sail across to. You've got Deer Island, Goat Island, and Bird Island. Mazatlán used to be and still is occupied by deer. That's where you get Deer Island from. That's where you get the Venados baseball team, because Venado is deer in Mazatlán. But otherwise, this is one of the most pleasant places you could be. Right here in the Golden Zone, rounding some corners is certainly enjoying the beach. But next we're going to be enjoying a beautiful bike ride along the Malaco, which is Spanish for seawall. And it's one of the most amazing seawalls that you can see, and we're headed there next. It is truly a seawall. So you saw that beautiful nightclub. It marks the beginning of the Malaco. That nightclub is called Mer, M-E-R, for sea. No, that's not sea. Yeah, that's sea. One of the longest seawalls you'll find in the entire southern hemisphere. It's almost 14 miles long. Starting right here with the sign Mazatlán, and out in the ocean there you have nature's beautiful fruits being delivered here all the time. We're talking about the shrimp, the octopus, the dorado fish. We're talking about squid. We're talking about cockles, conch shells. We're talking about everything is right here in the ocean, including on those rocks. You'll see people out there with inner tubes from tires going down and fetching oysters to be served to people like me. Yum. This is Mazatlán. Now we're going to be riding on this beautiful seawall. Yeah, this is getting down into the North Beach area of Mazatlán where you have the fishing boats, but right before that you have a bunch of restaurants on the beach. We call them restaurants, but they're really huts. And I ask you, let's say that you like to fish, but you don't necessarily like to cook, but you like to eat your fish. What are your choices where you live? Here in Mazatlán, you can come on the beach, catch a fish, and then take it to one of those restaurants and ask them to cook it for you, and they will. And they'll charge you a small fee for doing that. Of course, they also have their own fish. But that's just how amazing Mazatlán is. You can get all kinds of natural light treats down here in Mazatlán. You don't need to eat candy bars and chips if that's your thing. This is an example. It's a coconut treat. See it, amigo. ¿Qué tipo de es ese?
Trae vainilla.
That's vanilla, that has vanilla in it.
Y eso trae leche de coco.
It has milk and cocoa. And then the empanadas.
De cajeta, piña.
Piña y cajeta. So I'm going to get one of standing here in front of Pescado Monumento, or Fisherman's Monument. And it's got a very distinctive look to it. It also marks probably the most distinctive part of the Malecón. This is the most symbolic symbol because Mazatlán grew up not as a tourist destination, not like Cancun or Acapulco. Mazatlán grew up as a fishing, exporting city. And ships were sailing all over the world taking esoteric seafood like shark fin all the way to Japan and tuna all over the world. This monument symbolizes what this city is all about. It was somewhat controversial when it first was built because of the females. Some read it as a suggestive pose, but that was then. Today it symbolizes two figures and the importance of fishing to Mazatlán. As if this picturesque view wasn't enough to keep us here, we are going to move on to the next spot, which is even more delightful. It's in a part of town called Olas Altas. It's the original part of Mazatlán that was settled. As far as the modern Mazatlán goes, that's where it was colonized, in Olas Altas. So here we are at the far end of the beach part of Mazatlán. It's called North Beach. There is another beach when we get around the bend here, but as far as this strip goes, and this beach is known for the fishing. This is where the men, mostly, I have to say it's all men, go out in boats like this in the morning. They're all named here. You've got the Pelicano, that's after pelicans. When they come in here with their seafood, you can see pelicans like that one swarming for food. And then all the other names, you've got Anna, Yasmin, you've got Kitsia, Jesus, Manuel. All these boats go out and these fishermen are fishing with their bare hands, pulling the fish in, and then coming back here, and then all the fish is going into the restaurants, into the seafood stores. People are buying them right here from the fishermen. You cannot get better seafood in the entire world than right here in Mazatlán. There's so many different varieties of fish, and so many different varieties of shellfish included. Octopus. Is amazing what you can get here in Mazatlán. It's coming right in through here, mostly on the North Beach of Mazatlán. Rounding some corners is now going to leave the coast of Mazatlán. We're going to leave behind Olas Altas and the Malecón, which we left behind back there, but as far as the coastline goes, we're going to head into the interior a little bit. We're going down to Plazuela Machado. It's a beautiful open air spot with vendors, and it's got beautiful restaurants around it. It's very tranquilo, muy tranquilo, very peaceful there. As we get into the old town, as they call it, the central part of Mazatlán that was colonized by the Spanish and the French, you can see their influence on the architecture here. This is distinctly North American, but it has a European feel to it. Of course, the coloration, the tiles, That's all Mexican with some Spanish influences on the shapes. And you get places like this. It's a one of a kind, all hand painted, tile around it. You have the bars, somewhat for decoration, also for security. This is Old Town Mazatlán. So here we are